by looking at what the al-Sabiqun, the previous what Allah Azza wa Jalla sent to their prophets and what He sent to those previous aqwam, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the message is the message. Yeah, Allah Azza wa Jalla adds onto it till the final inspired message to humanity. The Qur'an al-Kareem is shown to us by the Prophet Muhammad alayhi afdalus salatu wa azka taslim. And so it's for us to say that basically, don't worry. Yeah, you're in a hard time and things are difficult, but others went through difficult things as well. Others went through different. Imagine being Bani Israel, for example, in Egypt, and then on the door, that's it. They come in, يَسْتَحْيُ نِسَاءَكُمْ وَيَقْتُلُونَ أَبْنَاءَكُمْ. They come and they have sex basically with your wives or your sisters and your mothers. This is what it was like. So yeah, fitna today. Yeah, we know it's a fitna, but others have gone through fitan like these. We're not the only ones to go through fitan. We're not the only ones to go through trials. We're not the only ones to have a difficult path in the terms of the life that we lead, in terms of our tamassuk, our holding on to the deen of Allah Azza wa Jalla. We're not the only ones to go through that. Many have gone through the difficulties. They were all Muslims. The people of every single prophet to be sent, they were called Muslims in their time. They had later names Bani Israel, but they're Muslims. Like we're the Ummah of Muhammad alayhi salatu wa sallam. We're Muslims. So, no excuses basically Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to us. And then we hear people today, ignorant people who don't understand what the message of Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying, oh yeah, half the Qur'an's about Bani Israel, they must be lost it. Oh, well, they had that. What about us? Isn't there an ibrah for us? Isn't there a sign for us? Isn't there an example for us in what those people did? Why would Allah Azza wa Jalla send that to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu and ask us to follow the Prophet of Allah sallallahu and to obey what's in the Qur'an if it wasn't the message for us? This is an example of what they went through so that we can beware and not make those same mistakes. So he says, Bashir al-Muznibeen, send glad tidings. In other words, good news. Hey, all those sinners out there, there's good news. And then to the Siddiqeen, basically the people of integrity. If you want to look at the English word, I know he's saying true saints, but Siddiq, it means integrity. If you want to look at a word, now what does integrity mean? It means that a person does what they believe and does what they say. And whatever they promise, they fulfill. In their own, even when there's no one around, just their own, they got integrity that a person believes that littering is not good for the ecosystem. So whether there's people around or there's no people around, they don't litter. That's sidq. And that's what siddiqeen are, the people of integrity. The people that no matter what circumstance, no matter what situation they're in, what they believe, they follow. Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu, he's Sayyid al-Siddiqeen. He's the head, the saint of all the Siddiqeen. And so he's saying to them, he's saying to the Siddiqeen, beware. Oof. What? Anzir. Beware. Tell them, watch out. And Sayyidina Dawood, he got shocked. He said, فقال, he said, Sayyidina Dawood alayhi salam, he said, Ya Rabbi, how can I give glad tidings to the sinners and then warn the people of integrity? He didn't understand what the context was of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was saying. Allah Azza wa Jalla said to him that there is no sin too great for me to forgive. Right? There is no sin too great for me to forgive. Because in the times that we live in, the sins are easy to do. They're free sins. They're so, you don't have to go anywhere anymore. Before you had to actually do something. You had to leave the privacy, so to speak, of your own home. Right? You had to do something before. You had to, go, you don't have to anymore. It comes to you now. That's it. It's got data and you just go ahead and wherever you want to go. You want to see this, you want to see that, you want to go, you want it to come to you, you want it, whatever it is. You can watch it, you can see it, you can hear about it, you can blog about it, you can have a chat room about it, whatever it is. You don't have to, it's not even that hard anymore. It's not even that hard. It's simple. It's easy to do. So the sins, when Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying, what the shaitan does, yu'adhim. And he gives more significance to the sin than one really should give. So people, they do sins, they fall into adultery, they take drugs, they, whatever they steal, they use usury. Well, they're all sins. They give false testimony, they do all these things, and they think, oh, that's it, I'm doomed, it's over for me. I'm not going to, how can I pray? One brother was saying to me, how can I pray when I look at women all day long and whatever, I say, oh, but one's haram and the other one's fard. It's haram to look at women all day long or half the day or whatever. And the other one's fard. You got to pray. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the deal is. So the answer to that is fix your prayer. Inna salata tanhi an al-fahsha'i wal munkar. The salat, it will, if it's proper, it'll force one, it'll dissuade one from fahsha and munkar. Fahsha is lewdness, if you like, and munkar are all those things that are sinful. If one's salat is right, but our salat, what's the condition of it? If our salat's not straight, our life's not going to be straight. If our salat's not straight, it's not going to take us to the straight path. If our salat's not straight, it's not going to save us from the chastisement when a'udhu billahi subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not going to happen. Salat, amud ad-din. It's the pillar. It's not really the pillar. It's the center point of the deen. It holds up the whole deen. Whoever destroys it, destroys the deen. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, hadamaha. Whoever demolishes it. In other words, whoever doesn't, and demolishing it isn't just not performing it. Yeah? Demolishing it is, I show up to my prayer, what am I thinking about? I want to finish my prayer so I can go somewhere else. In my prayer, I'm thinking about all the things that happened, right? And I want to do later on, I'm planning all my plans in my prayer. I'm leaving it to the last moment, the last possible time, 5 minutes before Maghrib, 5 minutes before Asr, 5 minutes before, whatever, so I can just get it in and over and done with. What's it going to do for me then? Imagine I was like that at my job. Imagine I went to my job and did the bare minimum. How long am I going to last? Not very long. Sooner or later I'll get discovered. I'll say, this person, they're not interested in this work. They're just here to get the cash and go. Yeah? Just here to get rid of the farida and go. Get rid of the fard, that's ticked off, see you later. Box ticking exercise. And that's what, and then we say, oh, my life's not hard and I can't get it together. And we should be looking forward. Arihna biha ya Bilal, he says, alayhi salatu wasalam. Let us relax. Let us chill out. Within the salat, we're the opposite. Finish our salat so we can chill out. It's the opposite, it's against the sunnah. Fi salatihim sahun. They're yatakasalun, in other words. Sahu. Sahu means to think about other things in prayer. And what happens to the person who prays like that? On the day of judgment, our deeds manifest. They become physical form. Yeah, and then that rag, the dirty stank rag, it gets thrown in our face. When the person is not focused in their prayer. Who's the worst thief? The one that steals from his or her salat. And the salat turns like a dirty rag, gets thrown in our face. Because we're just not interested. Just come tick the box and keep going. Imagine if someone treated you like that. Imagine if your spouse, your sister, your brother, your mum, your employer treated you like that. Unlike, frown face, that face. How can they do that to me? How can they do that to me? But I'm so-and-so. How can they do that to me? Imagine what we're doing to Allah's haqq on us. Imagine what we're doing to Allah's haqq on us. Imagine. And then we say, oh, the help of Allah doesn't come. Why is my life like that? Why can't I get married? Why can't I get this house? Why can't my husband treat me right? Why can't my wife treat me right? How come my kids don't listen to me? How come everything's going wrong? It's the amud. If it's not going straight, nothing's going to happen. So that's what the shaitan does, particularly in our time, because sins are everywhere. It's hard to get away from sin. Before it used to be easier to get away from sin. Now, you've got to leave the city now. If you want to get away from sin, you've got to go to the bush, somewhere where there's no human beings. And you relax, you feel comfortable, because that's it. The weight of sinning, because the haram has become halal now. Now, in our community, don't worry about the greater Australian community, to lie and cheat and give false testimony to get money anyhow, shatara, that person is clever. Right? And in the wider community, when fornication, alcoholism, and the funny thing, subhanAllah, this brother became Muslim the other time, not long ago, and he was talking about these football players and the politicians that get busted, like sexually harassing women. They're all drunk. All the guys when they're doing that are drunk. And then he was saying that, because I took drugs for I don't know how many years, he told me. He goes, he didn't used to drink. He goes, I drank 3 times in my life. 3 times. Twice I got into a fight, and once I don't know what happened, I just woke up. And the rest of the time he took all heavy drugs, ice and whatever. He goes, all the time I took those drugs, I never got into any trouble with anybody. I never stole anything, I never assaulted anyone, I never did anything. But those 3 times I did alcohol, one time something got broken, and one time they smashed his car, and then he ended up, one time he didn't even know what happened to him. Wake up the next day. Why is it that drug, which is so bad, al-Khaba'ith, it's legal, right? And then all the other drugs that, I'm not saying they're good, but they're not as bad. You know, this is what people tell me, and this is the research that's out there. It's reversed around when a'udhu billahi azza wa jal. All these guys getting into trouble, they're beating their wives and their intimate partners, and alcohol's got a big effect on it. It's the second biggest killer on the roads as well. And prohibition in the 30s in the United States is probably the best thing, 20s and 30s. But of course, what the people, وَشَابَ عَلَيْهَا مَنْ شَابَ عَلَيْهَا مَنْ شَابَ بِشَيْءٍ شَابَ عَلَيْهَا. Whoever grows up doing something, they become old doing that thing. In other words, that's it. It's a habit, and it's very hard to break when a'udhu billahi subhanahu wa ta'ala. So all those things there is. So shaitan makes us feel that, we lose despair. We despair in the hope of Allah Azza wa Jal. That's why Allah Azza wa Jal says, the Prophet says, wear the sandals of hope and fear. Hope in Allah Azza wa Jal, and fear that our deeds won't get accepted and Allah won't accept us and we'll have issues. So he says, there's no sin, no matter what a person does. Allah Azza wa Jal is ready to forgive. That's His nature, subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's who He is, that's His sifat. We can't say nature. That's the sifat, they're the qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And He says, warn the true saints. In other words, those people of integrity. Because people of integrity, they're used to doing things at a very high standard. And so people that do things at a high standard consistently, they start to look around them and see people that don't do things at a high standard, and they say, these people are lost, these people are this, I'm better than these people. Al-ujub, right? So the ujub, self-delusion, climbs in. I'm the one doing it. It's me, it's me, it's me, it's me. And that's what a person who is close to Allah, who has integrity, sidq, that's what happens if they don't watch it, if they don't remember their own sins, if they don't realize that Allah Azza wa Jalla created them to sin and repent to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what Allah created us for, to know Him firstly and then to do that. He says, فَإِنِّي لَا أَضَعْ عَدْلِي وَلَا حِسَابِي عَلَى أَحَدٍ إِلَّا هَلَكَ. So this is like the most poignant point for my mind. Once we would have said to you that, for me personally, right, the biggest fear that I have is Allah asking me a question. Because if He asks me a question, it's over for me. And this is what this is about. This is what this is about. He says, فَإِنِّي لَا أَضَعْ. If I do not place my adl, my justice, and hisab, accountability, or judgment if you like, but hisab is the accountability. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I gave you this, how'd you use it? What'd you do with this? Except that person becomes halak, destroyed or doomed. So if I were to impose my justice and judgment on anyone, he would surely be doomed. It speaks for itself. The person that gets judged, they're in trouble. Yeah? He says, Ya Dawood, katabtu rahmata ala nafsi wa qadaytu al-maghfirata liman istaghfarani. He says, O David, I prescribed mercy upon myself and decreed forgiveness for those who ask for it. That's the key. That's the key to the gates of Allah, the rida of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the gates of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's paradise is istighfar. And it's to say, the Sahaba, they used to count the Prophet ﷺ making istighfar 70 or 100 times in a gathering. Astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayh, astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayh. The Prophet of Allah ﷺ used to make istighfar 70 to 100 times in a gathering. And so, because the world's tricking us, yeah, the world's telling us that the busier you are, the more successful you are. يَتَخَبَّطُهُ الشَّيْطَانُ مِنَ الْمَسِّ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about that a person will be so overwhelmed by shaitan, Because shaitan's touching, or wherever there's not something that's not halal, the shaitan can touch and push and prod and pull and rub and rub his private. That's what he does. Like, he's filthy. He's the filthiest of all things out there. Yeah, feces, he rubs feces and whatever. Like, that's the real world. Urine, vomit, whatever. That's the real reality. The world we live in is not really, it's an illusion. And there is research coming out about that now. Research comes out that the human being, we just kind of, through habit and through whatever we do, what happens to me, we moved from Bankstown to Parramatta. And then I used to put my comb in that sliding drawer. And now every time I open the sliding drawer, I'm looking for the comb. It's been 5 weeks since we moved. We're just creatures of habit. And those habits are just illusions. So what they do is they get some scratchy voice and they say, let people hear it, listen to it. Then they play just some words, random words, and they tell the people, hear that scratchy voice again, and they can pick up the random words in the scratchy voice. And they change the words and they can hear them again. The brain, the way it's made so that we can survive on the... Because if we saw the reality of this life and we weren't ready for it, if our subconscious state wasn't ready for the reality of this world, we would die. If we saw really what goes on in this world, the unseen, like people have stress attacks and panic attacks over what? I want you to tell me. What do people have panic attacks over?
Crowds.
Right?
Money.
Yeah? Things that you can touch. When people see ghosts, their face changes. What do they say? You look like you saw a ghost. Like you're freaking out. You saw something from the unseen. If we're not spiritually and subconsciously ready to see the unseen, and we saw it, we'd lose our mind or we'd die. One of the two. And so our mind, what did he say? وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. What's ghurur? Falsehood. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Qur'an that the life of this world is nothing but mata', ghurur, falsehood. It's not illusion, hallucination if you like. It's just an illusion, this world. And so we think we're working on the earth, but really we're not. It's Allah holding us on the earth. Yeah? We think our eyeballs are in our skulls, but it's Allah Azza wa Jal through the angels that are around us holding those eyeballs, otherwise they just go flying out. Yeah, there's like how many trillion galaxies out there? Trillions of galaxies, not stars, of galaxies. And here we are, just this little human being, whatever, 5'7", 8, 40 kilos if you're female, 80 kilos if you're male, whatever, just being generous. Right? On this piece of, it's nothing solid on everything's constantly in flux, changing. Nothing. If we saw the things how it changes, and we saw the unseen, and we weren't ready for it, that's why people like kashf and all that, like to see the ghita unlifted. That's the reality. That's the reality. That's the reality of the life, but we can't handle it. So Allah doesn't want to let us see it, because we'll deny Allah in the end, or we'll lose our minds, and it's over. The test is over if a person loses their mind. Yeah, you just get that. If a person goes nuts, crazy, insane, mentally, unhealthy, that's it. This life's over for them in that sense. There's no more hisab. They can't get any more good deeds, and they can't get any more bad deeds. They're just living hack. Allah didn't send us to do that. He sent us as a trial to see which one of us has the most excellent of deeds. So the life in which we lead, it's the doorway for us to the rida of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And for us, it's through the mercy of Allah. Because in the end, it doesn't matter what deeds a person does. As the Prophet ﷺ, no one enters Jannah illa birahmah, illa birahmatu. They said, what even you, Rasulullah, illa an yataghammadani Allah birahmatu. Rahmati. They said, not even you, Rasulullah, you don't go into Jannah with your deeds. He said, no, only if Allah envelops me in His mercy. That's it. No one's going in except if Allah decides. So why bother with anything else? Why bother with anything else? That doesn't mean don't pray, because there's no rahmati wasi'at kulla shay wa sa'aktubuha lilladhina yattaqun. My mercy Wasi'at, it envelops, it encompasses all things, and I will write it for those who are conscious of me and conscious of their duty towards me. So that has to be there first, the taqwa, the enjoining good, forbidding evil, the doing good, the staying away from evil. But, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you're into Jannah, in other words, you'll get His pleasure, subhanahu wa ta'ala, His rida, from His rahmah, that's what we should be. That's what we, ilzim bab al-rahmah, they say. Stay steadfast on the door of the rahmah of Allah Azza wa Jal, because that's the door in. Don't worry about anything else. That's the door in. And that's what He's saying there. And decreed forgiveness for those who ask for it. They're the two things. Ya Allah, rahmatak, rahmatak, Ya Rabbi, rahmatak. And then what? Aghfirli, astaghfirullah al-azim wa atubu ilayh, astaghfir. That's why in Ramadan, which is coming up in 6 months, inshallah Azza wa Jal, right? That's why Ramadan, 5 months actually, beginning of May, inshallah. So that's why Ramadan, what's the two dhikr that we always maintain? La ilaha illallah, astaghfirullah. La ilaha illallah, astaghfirullah. As'alaka al-jannah wa na'udhu bika min al-nar. La ilaha illallah, astaghfirullah. I ask you Allah Jannah and I seek refuge in you from the hellfire. That's it, that's what we're supposed to do all day long. But what's happened to us? The illusion of this world's overcome our minds. And so we're going at 1,000,000 miles an hour all the time because busyness is success. Who said? Let's look at it in reality. The people that have millions and millions and millions and millions and billions and the successful, how are they successful? Right. By injustice. Whatever you want to call it, in every single way, shape and form. Some form of injustice. Yeah? So what we're saying to ourselves, if we're constantly thinking about, and that's the same with people that, become famous and singers and all that, they've got to sign the deal with the Sandman. You can read all these things, you can see it on the internet and all that. Stars talking about it. People like Willie Nelson and these guys, old school dudes, talking about how they had to sign their soul away to make it. Yeah? So you want to be famous, you got to sign your soul away. You want to be rich, you got to oppress everything and everyone, destroy the world. That's what wealth is. Destruction of the world. We're exchanging the destruction of the world, including humans in it, for cash. For money, capital. That's what we're doing. Yeah, whether we're getting it out of the ground or whatever we're doing. Or we're doing like what do they call them? The cyber, like the Ubers and that crap, that stuff of the world. What are they doing? They're just exploiting people. They don't do anything. They just have a platform and they market, that's all. They don't do anything. They don't own any cars, they don't have any insurance, they don't train anyone, they don't even really employ anyone. There's no real employment contract. Right? What are they doing? Nothing. The Facebooks, nothing. They're not doing anything. It's the people that are doing it. It's the people. They don't even really exist. Can you ring up Uber? Speak to someone? Facebook? You can't. You can't do it. What kind of a place is that? Seriously. Imagine you're doing business. Who's behind it? You know what I mean? So, take the choice that you want to take. What is your goal in life? What is it that you would like to achieve? What's your ultimate goal? If it's to be super wealthy, it means you've got to act unjustly. Choose if you want to do that. If you want to be popular, it means you've got to sell your soul. Sell your soul. So, in the end, they amount to nothing. Worse than nothing. They amount to ghadab min Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, instead of being busy, you can't make it unless you do these things. Maybe there's one or two people, they're just lucky, so to speak, you know what I mean? There's a few, but not very many. There are, like Abdurrahman bin Auf, the Prophet said about him, alayhi salam, if you dug in the ground, he'll find gold. Okay, but that's not a goal. That's Allah giving him. What does that mean? It means that when he digs in the ground, even if he's just scratching around, he's going to find gold that's from Allah. That's what's halal. That's what's fine. His goal wasn't that. He was running away from it most of the time, but that's what Allah has written for him. Yeah, Sayyidina Uthman ibn Affan, same thing. He just had money. It was just come and go, and that's it. Later on, Sayyidina Aisha, people would come and just give her 70,000 dirhams. The same day she would give it all away. Same day she would give it all away. Imagine us today. someone gave us 70 grand. We'd have 70,000 problems. Just like, be thinking about it all the time, all the time, all the time. So change it. It needs to be a goal shift. We need to shift our goals from these things that are either oppressive or selling our souls to the rahmah and the maghfirah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And our mind should be busy with that. How can I get the rahmah of Allah? How can I get the maghfirah of Allah? Then see if your life will change. He says subhanahu wa ta'ala, يا داود كتبت الرحمة على نفسي وقضيت المغفرة لمن استغفرني. We just read that, Mahak. أغفر الذنوب جميعها صغيرها وكبيرها ولا يكبر ذلك علي ولا يتعاظمني فلا تلقوا بأيديكم إلى التهلكة ولا تقنطوا من رحمتي فإن رحمتي وسعت كل شيء ورحمتي سبقت غضبي وجزائي وخزائن السماوات والأرض بيدي والخير كله بيدي. Allah. I've prescribed mercy upon myself and decreed forgiveness for those who ask for it. I forgive all sins, small and great, which can be neither too abundant nor too great for me. Therefore do not doom yourself or despair of my mercy, for my mercy has outstripped my wrath. That's just exactly what we're talking about, Mahak. Exactly how it was. Except one thing we need to know, if we do a big sin, major sin, or we take someone else's right, it has to be repaid and we have to make tawbah. Can't just go rorting people, talking about people, right? Slandering people, backbiting people and say, oh, I made tawbah to Allah. No. You've got to give the rights back to the ibad. It means you've got to go and apologise or do good deeds in their name. It doesn't just go like that. If you stole money, if you, whatever, you've got to return that. He says, and what does he say? وَخَزَائِنُ السَّمَوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ بِيَدَيْ وَالْخَيْرُ كُلُّهُ بِيَدِي. So anything, the treasures of the earth and the trillions of galaxies, right? That's only the first sama. The treasures of all, and what does the hadith say? The earth compared to the first sky is like a ring in the desert, like this ring. Yeah? Like a ring like that in the desert, right? And the earth and the first sky compared to the second sky is like a ring in the desert. And the earth and the first sky and the second sky compared to the third sky is like a ring in the desert. And so on and so forth until the earth, the first, second, third, fourth and fifth and sixth and seventh sky is like a ring in the desert compared to the arsh of Allah Azza wa Jal. Nothing. All those, how great and how massive they are, the keys to those treasures are with Allah Azza wa Jal. So what he's stressed about, that's what he's trying to say. Why are you worried? Why is it planning? Anyway, we can't make anything happen anyway. Plan. It's just worry. But we don't put it as worry. Because we use the word what? Busy. That means worry. Yeah? Busy is just another word for I'm worried. Imagine people ask you, what are you? I'm worried. People, this guy's so wrong with this person. But what's the word we use instead? Busy. And what does busy mean? I'm occupied. Isn't that what it means? What am I occupied with? Work. Yeah, everyone works, man. How's that busy? That's I'm working. That's different to being busy. Right? Isn't it or not? It is. Being busy is not working, right? Being busy is being occupied. So, I was building my house. All right, that's busy. But it's not really, it's building a house. But what word do we just throw in there? Busy. And look, it's the words, subhanAllah, how they show themselves. And the Prophet ﷺ, he was sent, Wami' al-Kalim, his miracles in the Qur'an, which is words. And so what's everyone doing out there in the high rises? What do they do in high rises, those high rise office towers? What are they doing there? Busyness. Business. Worrying. It's the words in the word. I didn't make it up. It's there. Go look it up if you don't believe me. Buzzness. Business. Busyness. It's true. I'm not making it up. That's the morphology of the word. Right? All those things are for what? And I'm going to take it even further for you. So inshallah, about what? Worry. Mahak? What's in those big buildings generally? What do they do, those big, massive, high-rise office blocks? Mainly finance, right? Some form of finance. And what happens when the word changes from busy to worry? What happens in the financial world? It collapses. Because why? It's called reality. When the word changes from busy to worry, that's it. We have GFC, we have what happened the other day, whatever it was. We have the Great Depression. We have. It's not like undercover. It's out there for whoever wants to see it. But if we're just going around in circles about how we're going to make money, please people, get status. We're not going to see anything around us. The world, our life's going to flash before our eyes. We're going to look and say, man, I'm 45, I'm grey. What have I done with my life? Like the bloke who picked up the check, $938,000, said, I wasted my life. 60 years old. 60 years old. 60 years old, got a $930,000 check, and he said, I wasted my life. Just realised it then, and then he can't change. Why? Why can't he change? Why don't you tell me why he can't change? Yeah, because he's busy. No, it's his habit. He's busy. I might have changed now. Don't worry. I've only got. And the guy passed away. Nearly just less than 10 years later. Just less than 10 years later. Same. I went to his funeral. Allah yarhamah. I was there. Same. And guess what the people at his funeral were talking about? Have a guess. Money. Yeah, right. They're his brothers and sisters and uncles and aunties and cousins and nephews and nieces and guess where his money is now after all those years? They're still fighting over it. They're still fighting over it. I died like 7, 8, 9 years ago. They're still fighting over it. And what did he do in his life? Tell me. No? Say it. Right, nothing. He destroyed his life. He did nothing in his life, and then he destroyed the life of his family. What's his legacy? Isn't that what people with money are trying to leave? Legacies. That's what they say. Leba is professional. Talking about, man. Like, you want to leave for my children. What's mustaqbil? Like a future. I want to leave a future for them. Well, Habibi, teach them about Allah if you want to leave a future for your kids. Teach him about Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Teach him about Abu Bakr, Allahumma arda anhu, and Sayyidina Umar, Allahumma arda anhu, and Sayyidina Uthman, Allahumma arda anhu, and Sayyidina Ali, Allahumma arda anhu, and Sayyidina Hassan, Allahumma arda anhu, and Sayyidina Hussein, Allahumma arda anhu, and Sayyidina Fatima, Allahumma arda anha. Teach him about that. That's going to teach him how to be successful in this world and the next world. This comes and this goes. And if you look at his history, Allahu alam where his money came from. Allah knows where his $938,000 came from. Only Allah knows. No one else knows. He probably knows. And what? And I heard later that even his wife didn't get along with the guy. Even that's what I heard. Because why? Why didn't she get along with him? He was too busy. MashaAllah alayki. Right? And what does she want from him? Do you reckon? She wants the cash. She wants the cash. She's waiting. She's next in line for the money. Manito, cashish. Right, mullah. That's what she wants. Because how did he live his life? Cashed up, money, busy. She's watching him every day. What's he talking about? Where's he going? What's he doing? What's he running around about? Doing what? And his kids, same. Yeah, man, what? When he goes, free hundreds of thousands of millions or whatever it ends up to be. It's free. So they've been planning and plotting for years and years and busy. Right? For what? So has he really made a future for his family? He's destroyed his family. He unwittingly, he's a Muslim, I'm not talking to you like he's a top Muslim. Prays 5 times a day in the masjid, come in the mosque. Not like a, how you going, run-of-the-mill Muslim. He's a good quality Muslim. But where's the heart connected to? إن الله لا ينظر إلى صوركم and even ولا أعمالكم ولكن ينظر إلى قلوبكم. And there's another way وأعمالكم. Doesn't look at what it looks like on the outside. What's in here? إلا من أتى الله بقلب سليم. Except for the one who comes to Allah with a sound heart. In other words, if you're a person of integrity, don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by the deeds. Don't get self-deluded and I got cash and people respect me, I pray in the mosque, whatever. People say about me, I'm righteous. Habib, if someone has to come and tell you about yourself, right, that you're good or bad, you got serious problems. If someone if they say something bad to you and it affects you, oh yeah, that's it. And they say something good to you and it affects you, yeah, I'm good. That person's got serious problems. That person does not even know who they are. That person does not understand their own self. That person doesn't know what their personality, who their personality is. That person doesn't know Allah. Doesn't know Allah. But the one who knows himself or herself is untouchable. Bi-idhnillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I always tell you that story about the little kid when I first went to Tarim. And I know he's a Sayyid from the Ahlul Bayt. I go, what's your name? And he said, Muhammad. What's your dad's name? Ahmed. What's your grandpa's name? Mustafa. And he knew. And he just started saying Mustafa ibn Ali bin Mahmud bin Ibn Rasulullah. Allahumma salli. I was smiling. I loved it. I get to hear it. We don't get to hear those things here. And I thought to myself, this guy's untouchable. No one can shake him, no matter even if he ends up being a junkie when the samah Allah la qaddar Allah are in jail. He knows who he is. No one can come and tell him you're a terrorist. No one can come and tell him you're backwards. No one can come and tell him you don't understand what life's about. No one can come and tell him your Sharia is wrong. No one can come and tell him you believe in God, you're stupid. No one. He knows who he is. He knows who he is. He's unshakable. His little kid had snot on his nose. I'm not joking. And his all fingers, he was running barefoot, didn't have shoes, in the dirt. There was only one paved road, one asphalt road. I'm thinking, this guy's better than me. I'm 30 years of old, gone, come, this, that. I've got no idea who I am. Little kid, 7, 8 years of age, he knows who he is. They taught him who he is. They taught him who he is. No one can shake him, bi-idhnillah ta'ala. But we're busy. It's not just around, it's like every direction, in, out, over, under. وَنَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ. Don't be busy. Look for the rahmah. Look for the maghfirah. He said, Ya Dawood, isma' minni al-haqq wal-haqq aqul. This is like heavy. He says, Ya Dawood, just listen to me. Listen from me. And I'm saying the truth. Ya Allah. He says, Man laqiyani min ibadi wa huwa yukhafu adhabi lam u'adhibah binari. I kind of missed it, I think. Yeah, I think it's not there. Is it in there? I can't find it either. Alright, it says, Isma' minni ya Dawood, ya Dawood, listen to me. I'm saying the truth. Like imagine Allah Azza wa Jal talking to you and saying that to you. Yeah? Subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, listen to me. As if you wouldn't listen to Allah anyway. But he's saying like, in other words, pay close attention to what I'm about to say. He says, Man laqiyani min ibadi wa huwa yukhafu adhabi lam u'adhibuhu binari. He says, of my servants, those who laqiyani meet me and they're afraid of their punishment, of my punishment, I will not punish that person in the hellfire. So the person who fears the punishment of Allah, meaning the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah Azza wa Jalla is angry, will get angry with that person or upset with that person, right? Doesn't that kind of temper a lot of our actions? In other words, doesn't that influence us to do certain things if someone's going to be upset with us? Like if we know mum's going to yell and cry, or our husband or wife's going to yell and cry, or someone else is going to hue and cry. They use hue and cry like a big commotion and cry. Don't we think, I'm not going to leave that dish there because I don't want the hassle, I don't want the headache, I don't want someone going off, I just want to chill out. Yeah? That's how we should be with Allah. We shouldn't be doing things in our lives. Yeah, we all make mistakes though, and it'll come to that. Yet the goals in our life that we set should be focused on not upsetting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and actually making Allah Azza wa Jal pleased. That's what he's saying. So he says it again, Ya Dawood, isma' minni wal haqqa aqul, man laqiyana min ibadi wa huwa mustahyin min ma'asi an ansitu hafadatahu ذنبه ولم أسأله عنه. He says, is that there?
Yeah. Oh David, hear me.
O David, hear me. Verily I say, when my servant is ashamed or who is ashamed of his sins comes to meet me, I cause his guardians to forget them and not ask them about them. So if we go to 81, of course they're the hafadha, the malaika, the guardian angels who record his deed, Raqib wa Atid, the right and the left angels. Right? So that's pretty good deal, isn't it? Really? Person sins and they're fearful when A'udhu Billah Azza wa Jal of they're ashamed that they're going to have sins to meet Allah Azza wa Jal. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying about the hisab. If Allah asks a question, I know what I've done. I know what I've done. I know what I've thought about myself, about Allah, about Prophet ﷺ, about others, Muslims and non-Muslims. When A'udhu Billah, imagine Allah takes me to account. Inshallah, we're amongst those ones, bi'idhnillah Azza wa Jal. يا داود اسمع مني والحق أقول لو أن عبدا من عبادي عمل حشو الدنيا ذنوبا وهو مصر عليها ثم ندم واستغفرني مرة واحدة علمت من قلبه أنه لا يريد أن يعود إليها أبدا ألقيتها عنه أسرع من هبوط الطائر من السماء إلى الأرض. وقال داود إلهي لك الحمد ومن أجل ذلك لا ينبغي لمن يعرفك أن يقطع رجاءه عنك. He said, O David, hear me, verily I say. And again, he said the same thing. So I'm going to tell you the truth. Listen to me, David. It's not the best there, but listen. I'm going to say, and what I say is the truth. Of course, how is Allah not going to talk the truth? What's falsehood from anyway? What's falsehood derived from? Where does falsehood come from? No? Alright, yeah. Where does it come from?
Not Allah.
Of course it is from Allah. But where's the asl? Where's the basis of falsehood and deception? Truth.
Oh, yeah.
A falsehood in reality isn't in and of itself. جاء الحق وزهق الباطل. When the truth comes, the falsehood doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. Zahaq. Basically disappeared, slides away, and it's gone. That's it. In the drain down to the somewhere else, gone. It's out of there. So falsehood, look at all the falsehoods. The worshipping of other than Allah, first and the foremost. What? Worshipping. Who's the first to worship غير Allah? Qabil. Yeah, he still worships Allah, Shaitan, by the way. Still, but he's just got a vendetta against us. Against you and me. But he's a muwahhid. He doesn't believe there's any other lords except, he doesn't say he's Lord either. Whereas Pharaoh did. Pharaoh said that. So that's how tricky he is. That's how tricky he is. Yeah? Is Qabil. Naam. Allah.
My understanding isn't arrogance in itself shirk.
He still worships Allah. If it is shirk, it's khafi. It's the lesser sort of shirk. Because he knows, إني أخاف الله, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, بشهادة الله subhanahu wa ta'ala, بكتابه العزيز, Allah Azza wa Jal witnesses today, puts it in the Qur'an that the shaitan says, إني أخاف الله رب العالمين. So we can't say other than that. Right? And there's nowhere in there that he associates, even when they say, well, we worshipped you, and he goes, no, what did you do? نصحتكم واستجبتم لي. No, I'm not a God, I'm nothing. That's how tricky he is. That's the trick. So arrogance in the end, of course, like in the end, it's al-kibriya is huwa ridai wa man naza'ani fihi. That's it. He's finished. Whoever challenges Allah in arrogance, of course. The thing is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anzarahu. He left him. Ila yawmin yub'athun. Al-inzar, like he pardoned him, or not pardoned, but gave him a grace period, if you like. So he was going to get worked, going to get punished at the time. He said, leave me. So it doesn't mean that he's, ashraka billah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's not the case. It was Qabil, Cain, who killed Abel, and he left Sayyidina Adam, he left, the Ummat al-Muslimin. He is the one who went off. They say he went to Yemen, others say different places, and he built the church to worship Shaitan. He's the first, the temple to worship Shaitan. So the worshipping of anything, right, comes from haqq, because we're human beings. Allah created us to worship Him. Yet we're supposed to worship Allah. Others started worshipping false gods. That's falsehood. Falsehood comes from truth. Yeah, there's nothing in this earth except that it isn't based on truth. Because Allah Azza wa Jal, مَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ عَبَثًا, He says, subhanahu wa ta'ala. We didn't create you arbitrarily, afwan. Didn't just create hack. There's a reason why we're created. There's a reason why the earth's created. There's not a thing in creation that doesn't have a reason for its existence. There's not a thing. Everything's got a reason for its existence. Every single thing that we know and hear and we don't know and we don't hear has got a reason. بالحق subhanahu wa ta'ala, naam. Illa bilhaq, exactly. Right? So, when it comes to these things, we have to understand that the falsehood is it's just smoke screens and mirrors. Yeah, it's not true. It's not true, but we believe it and we make it our truth. Wa na'udhu billah azza wa jal. Because we're preoccupied. We're preoccupied, right, with other than Allah, with other than the book of Allah, with other than the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, with other than the words of the awliya and the salihin and the mashaykh and the ulama. We're preoccupied. How many hours a day do we spend with what belongs to Allah, khalisan, purely for Allah, and how many hours a day do we spend with things that are other than that? And then work it out for yourself. You can do your own calculations. You don't need me, and inshallah we don't need Allah to make that calculation for us, because if He does, we're in trouble. He says, where one of my servants persistently to commit sins. So what that means, he says, so he talks here, وَهُوَ مُصِرٌّ عَلَيْهَا. Right, there's two sins. There's two sins. Like, for example, if someone does something that's makruh, right, like talking in the toilet, for example, but they're persistent, nah, I don't care, I want to talk in the toilet, then that goes from makruh to haram. Because to purposefully go against the Prophet of Allah, purposefully intending to do it, makes that sin worse. Yeah? So if someone's doing something like ghiba, some ulama say it's kabira, certainly it's haram. They say, no, I'll talk about people, I'm telling the truth, I'm doing something good, that becomes a kabira, a major sin. And then if someone's doing a major sin, like slander, like namima, and they say, I'll do, I don't care, I'll do whatever I want, I'm musir, they're insistent upon doing it, then that becomes from the mubiqat. Right? And then after that, people who are doing the mubiqat, and they're insistent on it, it becomes, they leave the fold of Islam, wa na'udhu billah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa na'udhu billah. Mubiqat, like false testimony, constantly lying, knowing they're lying, giving false testimony all the time. Saying, no, I'll do it. Like, Habibi, that's what people are doing. That's what people are doing. My relatives and your relatives, every week they sign the paper at the Centrelink, every week for the last 20, 30 years. For the last 20 or 30 years, every week signing false testimony, every 2 weeks, every fortnight. Yeah, you haven't worked? Nah. You haven't got money? Nah. You haven't got houses overseas? Nah. You haven't got money over there? Nah. Every second week. And they say, why is that situation? Why are our kids lost? Shaykh, why are our kids lost? Allah istur. So that becomes, when a'udhu billah, to lead someone out of the fold of Islam, when a'udhu billah. Because Muslims, the two things they don't do is lie, and they're not treacherous. That we don't do those things. It's not from who we are. We do everything else, but we don't do those things when a'udhu billah azza wa jal. Right? So even if a person was persistent on those sins and they repented, so it's upon Allah how imperative that word is. Because people sin, we make mistakes. Sometimes we just, we get overcome, we're weak sometimes, and things overcome us. We do something silly, stupid, it's a once-off, or it's not a regular thing. That's a different thing. Of course we'd expect Allah to forgive us for that, because He's Allah, Ghafur Rahim. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says here, وَهُوَ مُصِرٌ عَلَيْهَا. I don't care, I'm going to do it. I don't care, I'm not going to pray, whatever. Where does it say you have to pray anyway? Where does it say you can't drink anyway? I've heard people say that to my face, believe it or not. Okay? ثُمَّ نَدِمَ وَاسْتَغْفَرَ. So firstly they felt regret, and then they repented. They ask Allah Azza wa Jalla's forgiveness. Marratan wahida. Just once. Just once. And Allah علمت من قلبه أنه لا يريد أن يعود إليها أبدا ألقيتها عنه أسرع من هبوط الطائر من السماء إلى الأرض. Once, just once. Look at the mercy of Allah. Someone purposely said, Allah, that's what Isra. I'm going against you. I don't care. I don't care. I'm going against you. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to do it. Who are you to tell me? I had people, one time with this guy who was doing wills, and I go, he wants to do his will. I said, yeah, I'll do Islamic will. He's Muslim. I want to do Islamic will. I said, yeah. He goes, oh, what's an Islamic will? I said, you got to give this much to this, to the Imam, and this much to your dad. He goes, what? I earned the money. I said, Habibi, what do you do for a living? He's like, I'm involved in construction. I said, oh, so you work with your hands. Where'd your hand come from, son? He's not a son. He's like, the guy's 70 years old, brother. Istur. 70 years old. But where'd your hand come from? Where'd your brain come from to think to build that, put that there? Where'd your eyesight come from, champ? That's not what I said, but that's what I told him. But, like, are you serious? I was like 30 years old. The guy's 70 years old is telling me that. Are you for real? Are you for real? Where do all these things come from that you use to make all that money? It's my money, he's telling me. Are you for real? Well, it's the same illness. Love of the dunya. Goal is to make money. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing this. I'm doing it my way. This, that, this. Close my folder. All right, no worries. I'll see you later. Assalamu alaikum. Help people do haram when billah. Help him destroy himself when billah. Help him destroy his family like the other gentlemen they were friends, by the way. These two. Subhanallah. Neighbors and friends. Yeah? He just wants to destroy himself and his family. He knows it's his money. What? Are you serious? You're lucky Allah didn't send you a calamity and all your money went with it. You're lucky. You don't say thanks for that. No, it's my money. Well, your money. Where'd you get it from? Right? So even the person in that state, Allah knows just once, that's the mercy. Once he said, Ya Allah, I've done the wrong thing. I regretted the way I acted. I regretted the way I acted. Well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that Allah forgives that person quicker than, have you ever seen those, what do they call them, larks? They fly in massive groups. They fly fast and then they land on the ground in 1 second. They're flying in like thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands, and then they fly and then, that's how quick Allah forgives. That's how quick Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives. وقال داود إلهي لك الحمد من أجل ذلك لا ينبغي لمن يعرفك أن يقطع رجاءه عنك. He says, Ya Allah, all gratitude, all praise belongs to you. Like, what kind of a quality is that? Imagine a man or a woman said that they forgive people. We say, that person's a bit bad, this guy. Look, he forgives straight away. He forgives straight away. Why? Why is it like that? Because that's the psychology of our time. Pseudo-psychology, is Imam Abdul Hakim Murad was saying. Pseudo-psychology is not a real psychology, it's a fake psychology. That what? You got to get your money. You got to make sure you're earning it. Make sure that this material world is yours. Don't worry about it. What spirituality? It doesn't even exist. We came from a lump of something that came out of somewhere that mutated and mutated and mutated and mutated millions and billions and billions and billions and billions and millions and billions and billions and millions, and all those other galaxies as well. They mutated trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions, and then now they're trillions and trillions and trillions. Now they're finding new types of galaxies they hadn't found before, and those, however many they're going to find, just a freak mutation. And that's sane. If you think like that, you're sane. But if you believe in God and the Spirit, something wrong with you. How can you believe that? How can you believe that? So, because it's in our hearts as well, when we see someone who forgives, why is that person forgiving? For the sake of Allah? Oh, why does Allah love the person that forgives people like that person? Because that's one of the sifat of Allah. Man ahsaha. Man ahsaha dakhal al-jannah. The 99 names of Allah. Whoever embodies one of those names, they enter paradise. Or all of them really. One of them is Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahmah, Ar-Rahim subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Ghaffar. And plus, forgiveness, Allah's got 3 names for forgiveness. Ghafir, Ghaffar, or Ghafoor. Yeah? 3 names for forgiveness. 3. Ghafir, Ghaffar, or Ghafoor. 3. And us, we don't forgive no one. Someone looks at us funny, talk about it for a month. Because we're attached to the dunya. Our hearts are hard. وَنَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sayyidina Dawood says, all praise is due to Allah. You forgive everyone, you created everything, everything belongs to you in the heavens and the earth. As he said, subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's in his hands, subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you forgive, truly that's an amazing quality. But because we can't do it, what do we say? That person's stupid. So we can remove ourselves from that quality when a'udhu billah. When a'udhu billah. Haven't you seen the people on YouTube, someone kills their son, or their daughter in the court, America, right? And they go up, they hug the guy, the killer, and they say, I forgive you. And the killer was hard the whole way through, and that's when they break down. Because who knows what the killer's life is like? Maybe raped, molested, no mother, no father, been in homes, bashed, abused. You don't know what is. Someone finally showed him rahmah, he broke down. And that's what our mistake is. What was the Prophet sent? Rahmatan lil-alameen. Yeah? So when people call us terrorists and nut jobs, they're crying out for rahmah, those people. They're crying out. They're crying out, the people, the haters and the naysayers. They're crying out for rahmah. If you can't face them, rahmah, at least pray for them. Ya Allah, these people, the right-wing guys that are against us, Ya Allah, have rahmah towards them. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Rahmah is what changes things. Mercy in our hearts, because it brings the divine help of Allah. But when we say, we're going to blow them up, we're going to burn them, they're infidels. What? When did the Prophet ever say that? When did he ever do that? I locked him in Wadi Abu Talib for nearly 3 years, and there was sanctions against him. He couldn't even eat, he couldn't do nothing. Did he say, oh, Allah, destroy him? No. When the angel came and said, I'll crash the 2 mountains upon them, he said, what? No way. No way. Maybe from their progeny will come someone who believes in the unity of Allah Azza wa Jal, muwahhid, a monotheist. And yet here we are with our little PP guns, and our Toyotas and stuff, driving around, burning people, killing people, Abu this and Abu that, wa na'udhu billah Azza wa Jal. What a disgrace. What a disgrace. Deviancy. Total deviancy, wa na'udhu billah. And then there's the ones who support him. Yeah, brother. Yeah, brother. What do you mean, yeah, brother? What brother, bro? If he's doing that, tell him he's wrong. Say, bro, that's the wrong thing. If you're truly his brother, get him off his dhulm. Kuffu an dhulmi. Not, stand here and just, make it like it's... What are you on about? Rahmah. 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 That's the key. That's what Allah's telling us. And He said, praise belongs to you, Allah Azza wa Jal. Min ajli dhalika, because of that quality. None who knows you should lose hope in you. Anyone who knows anything about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should never lose hope. Because if we lose hope, the shaitan's got us. And our nafs just gives in, because it's too easy to give in. It's so easy to give in. It's so easy to smoke cigarettes and take dope and fornicate and go into the bank and get loans and steal and lie and cheat. It's easy. That stuff's easy. But it's hard to wake up for fajr. It's hard to dress properly. It's hard to eat halal. It's hard to have honest halal living. Those things are tough. But that's what brings the help of Allah Azza wa Jal. So the people that are on that path, if they don't have rahmah in their hearts, they'll always feel like they're losing. Because they're comparing themselves to the people of the world. And the people who know Allah are the people of the next world. Yeah? And the people of the unseen world. The people of the real world, not this illusory world in which we're living. So how can we compare ourselves to the people of the material world? Can't. So don't worry about them. Don't read about them. Yeah, it's my advice to you. Don't read about them. Don't watch about them. Don't take advice from them. Even if they're telling you to pray, don't take advice from them, because they're only going to want to do it to make money out of it. Don't talk about them. Don't mention their names. Don't tell their stories. Right? Don't worry about these people. Talk about the people of rahmah. If someone, like the guy who hugged the guy, the jail, the dad who hugged the convicted murderer, they tell that story, because that'll imbue rahmah in the hearts. That'll do mercy in the hearts. Where's the mercy? Find the mercy. Watch that YouTube clip with a leopard. I can't remember which one it was. The lion gets the little fawn, the little deer, right, and then saves it and lets it go and protects it from the leopard or the lion, or whatever the story is. Find the rahmah in the animal world. Find where it's at. Find that mercy and watch that. Talk about that. And if you can do better, the rahmah of Allah. how He forgives the sins subhanahu wa ta'ala. The rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the Day of Judgment of the guy who's got 99 scrolls of murderous, treacherous deeds, and he's got one little scrap of paper that says La ilaha illallah, puts it on the pan, the scrolls fly in the air, he goes to Jannah. The rahmah of the Prophet ﷺ, which we just mentioned, even to the birds, to the animals, to the jamadat, to the trunk that amitanaha, the trunk that's crying and inconsolable in the masjid. There used to be the mimbar of the Prophet ﷺ. Talk about that, think about that, recount those stories, and then watch how your life is. Then watch how your heart is. Then watch how your busyness becomes. Otherwise, when a'udhu billah, we're going to think we're losers in this world, and a'udhu billah azza wa jal, we're not going to be encouraged to do what Allah wants us to do, or to act in the way the Prophet of Allah ﷺ encourages us to act. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sallam. Are there any questions about any of those things? Tafaddal.
How do you balance between regret and not losing hope?
So regret is at the time of the tawbah, right? Yeah. So and really tawbah is ala al-fawr, they say. So if you do a bad deed, don't kid yourself, in other words, right? We all make mistakes. We all have times of weakness when we want to eat that, that chocolate cake, and we know that maybe there's something doubtful in it, but we're not sure, we just rip it anyway. Follow it down with some milk and just astaghfirullah. Then say astaghfirullah al-azim at that time. Regret, Ya Allah, I was weak, I was hungry, there was nothing else to eat, whatever the story is. I was with my friends, they're all smoking ciggies, and I didn't want to smoke the ciggy, but whatever the case is, whatever, and I smoked it. Ya Allah, forgive me, that boy, I'm interested in him, and I gave him the eye or whatever, Ya Allah, I was just weak because I'm looking for some comfort, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. Or the girl, I was staring at her body when I was the and I know it's haram. So it's at that time the regret. And then later on, if you think of that sin, right, know that Allah has forgiven you if you're sincere in your tawbah, but the regret is maintained to keep us humble. If we think about the sin, right, inshallah it's forgiven. But that regret that we have in our hearts, because otherwise we become self-deluded, right? The people of sidq, the people of integrity, they become self-deluded. Why? Because they forget the wrongs they've done. Not because they're people of integrity, because they forgot that, they used to do wrong. They used to do this when they shouldn't have. So remembering it in that way to keep us humble is jaiz. It's actually mustahab. It's good. It's commendable. But know that Allah has forgiven that sin. But I remind myself of that sin to know, who do I think I am? No matter what I'm doing. What status do I think I'm at? If Allah doesn't forgive me, doesn't matter what I've done. Doesn't matter how much integrity I have. The essence of the mu'amala, the dealing with Allah, is maghfirah, inshallah, and rahmah. Tamam? Anyone else have any questions about this or anything else?
What's the approach for someone? Should that be different?
So the person who's constantly missing faraid needs to look at their time management. Right? Because the key to success is time management. Whoever can manage their time correctly, whether it's in the dini things, or whether it's in the worldly things, or the sporting things, or the academic things, or beauty things, or muscular things, whoever manages their time in the right way to achieve their goal will become successful bi-idhnillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So someone who fara'id, particularly salat, they need to look at their scheduling. They need to make sure that they've got, our phones these days, right, they're a blessing and they're a curse. But my phones, I've got about 15 or 20 alarms on my phone. You can set those anytime you want for anything you want. You can set an alarm that you have to go to sleep. And you can set one when you are asleep. You can do these things because our phones have all these great things on them that help us to do. And there's apps, there's all sorts of things you can do. If you want to do them, you can do it. If you want to use your phone for good, to take you to Allah, you can. It's not inherently evil at all. So that person would have to make sure that if they're going to work, they've got it planned out. All right, I'm going to work, lunch is at 1, dhuhr is at 1, what time am I going to finish work? Am I going to be back home before Asr? If I'm not back home before Asr, all right, I have to make wudu. Can I keep my wudu from 7 o'clock till 1 o'clock? Unlikely. If I can, great. If I can't, what's my plan for making wudu? All right, I don't want to stick my foot in the basin at work. What should I do? Should I get a bottle, go out to the park, wash my feet in the park? I've got to have a plan. Everyone's got to have a plan. We have a plan when we go out, though, when we go for chai, caramel, is it chocolate, whatever it is, lattes, caramel chai latte, is that what it was? Right? When we go for caramel chai latte, we've got every plan. And it's mapped on the thing, the Google map where you go, you send the the pin or whatever it is, you send it to someone. Where's the location? You just send the thing to someone. They don't have to do anything, just press the button. And again, there's no even buttons anymore, just press the screen and it automatically turn left, turn right, turn left, go straight, like robotic. But we need to do that for our deen stuff. All right, if I can't do that, is there a mosque near me? Is there a musalla near where I'm working? So that one's day is planned around those fara'id, whatever the situation is. All right, if I'm a sister, I don't wear hijab, but I need to pray. Do I have my hijab with me? Do I have a scarf? Do I have a jumper I can wrap around my head? Whatever the story is, whatever I have to do to make it halal for me to pray, do I know where the qibla is? If I don't, do I have to work it out where I'm going? My phone, because sometimes those compasses on our phones are shocking. I'm yet to find it that works good, so can I see the sun from where I am? Like, we've got to do these things. And again, that's about the busyness. Because what are we thinking about when we go to work? I'm going to get there on time. Is this person going to bother me? Am I going to be able to finish my project? Can I do this? We're not thinking about the halal of it. But if we were thinking about the halal of it, Allah would make it easy for us, bi'idhnillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's the key. When it's something that's like about fara'id, but the israr, if I got a habit of smoking, for example, right? I can't just quit. Some people can, but most people can't. So I need to, for example, see my GP, get nicotine, whatever it is, get the spray, the nicotine spray, whatever, so I can work. If I've got a habit that I can't break, I need to go get some help. I need to go see a psychologist or someone, preferably a Muslim one. So I've got this habit. Do you guys have any techniques that you use to help me, to help people break habits? That's their job. Whether we like it, we don't like it, they've got stuff like that, right? That will help me overcome. If I've been trying to break a habit for 10 years, well, 10 years is a long time. If I've been trying to break it for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, all right, I'll give myself the chance. Yeah, or go to my doctor or go somewhere, join a course, I don't know, do something to help me break out of the habit, because I'm not able to break out of it. So there's something innately off within me, or not focusing on the right things, because really, what my understanding, the science about habits is no one can actually break a habit. We just replace a bad habit with a good habit. That's what the science basically says. So I've got to be able to understand it. I've got to be able to work through it. If my habit is that I love the dunya, yeah? Well, we all love the dunya to some extent, whether it's cars, whether it's houses, whether it's men, whether it's women, whether it's status, whether it's entitlement, whether it's whatever it is, we all have some connection to it. I've got to work out what it is. And then I've got to reconcile in my own mind, where does the rizq come from? Where does the money come from? And what's the benefit it's going to give me? I might have an Italian car, right? But what's the benefit of having it? That's the question. Why do I want it? Why do I want it? Right? And what benefit is going to give me in this life and the next life? The people of Allah, لا يعظمون شيء من الدنيا. They don't give significance and say, oh, that thing is so awesome from the dunya. Oh, if I need to have that thing. People of Allah don't do that. They might say, it's great engineering, it's a great invention. And if I can use it for my deen, it's great for that reason, but not in and of itself. All right, if I'm going to have a Lamborghini and I hang around with people that are high net worth people and it's going to help me to give da'wah, maybe, possibly. But if I'm going to have to work day and night, fingers to the bone, not think about anything else, miss my prayers, hang out in environments that are impermissible, do things that are impermissible, and then borrow money that's haram to get that, and steal and cheat and lie and change my name and fake companies and whatever to get it, then I've got to ask myself, how's that beneficial for me in this life and the next life? Any other questions? الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير الأنام يا أرحم الراحمين الحمد برحمتك الواسعة يا غفار يا غفور يا رحمن اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وسيئاتنا وكفر عنا يا أرحم الراحمين واستر لنا عيوبنا يا أكرم الأكرمين نسألك يا أكرم الأكرمين قبل أن نقوم من هذا المكان أن تغفر لنا ذنوبنا وأن تتوب علينا توبة نصوحة يا رحمن يا رحيم يا غفار يا غفور يا أرحم الراحمين يا واسع المغفرة يا الله واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا ولوالدينا ولوالد والدينا والذين سبقونا بالإيمان نسألك يا أرحم الراحمين أن تغير نياتنا وأن تغير عقولنا وأن تغير توجهاتنا يا أرحم الراحمين حتى لا يكون همنا ولا فكرنا إلا إياك ولا نشتغل إلا بك يا أرحم الراحمين وبرسولك وبطريقك يا أرحم الراحمين Ya Allah, we ask you to forgive us, forgive our sins and elevate our status in this life and the next. Ya Allah, we ask you to make our business only with you and with the Prophet Muhammad alayhi afdal salatu wa azka taslim and all that's around that, Ya Allah. We ask you, Ya Allah, to alleviate from the time we leave this place, Ya Allah, and we walk out of this building, Ya Allah, to take from our hearts the love of this dunya, Ya Allah, the love of all things ephemeral, Ya Allah, the love of all things material, Ya Allah, and to replace in our hearts, Ya Allah, the love of you and the love of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi afdal salatu wa azka taslim and the Qur'an and the righteous and the pious and the salihin and the saints, Ya Allah, and those people of integrity, makers of the people of integrity, Ya Allah. Those, Ya Allah, that are sincere to you in all their actions and thoughts, but those that don't enter the realm of self-delusion, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, we ask you to elevate our status and put in our hearts maghfirah, Ya Allah, and rahmah, so that we may act as the Prophet acted, alayhi salatu wasalam, rahmatan lil alameen, and mercy to all of the creation, Ya Allah. Make us of those who embody the prophetic nature and the prophetic character and the prophetic way in all facets of our life. Ya Allah, we ask you to accept us and accept our teachers, Ya Allah, and elevate their status in this life and the next, and make them the coolness of the eyes of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam bi khairin wa lutfin wa afiyah wa ala hadratin nabi bi sirri al-Fatiha.